You send over your artwork. Maybe it's a brochure, a postcard, a set of business cards. You attach the file, hit send, and think, all right, that's done. From your perspective, the job is basically complete. From ours, it's just getting started. There's a lot that happens between the moment you send a file and the moment you're holding a finished printed piece. Most of it happens behind the scenes, and most of it is the difference between something that looks fine and something that looks truly professional. Let's walk through the process. File review, the first and most important step. Before anything gets printed, your file goes through a review process. This is where we look for things like image resolution, will it print sharp or blurry? Bleeds and margins, will anything get cut off? Color mode, RGB versus CMYK. Font issues, missing or substituted fonts. And file setup and sizing. A file might look perfect on your screen, but printing is a completely different environment. Colors behave differently. Edges matter. Small issues can turn into very noticeable problems once ink hits paper. Getting this step right prevents delays, reprints, and unnecessary back and forth. Pre-press, the step most people never hear about. Once the file checks out, it moves into pre-press. This is where your file is prepared for production. It's a technical step, but it's critical to getting a consistent result. Pre-press can include adjusting colors for accurate output, setting up bleeds and trim lines, imposing files for efficient printing, and generating proofs for approval. If you've ever received a proof before printing, this is where it comes from. Prepress is all about making sure what you approved is exactly what gets produced. Choosing the right production method. Not every job is produced the same way. Depending on the project, we determine whether it's best suited for digital printing, offset printing, or wide format equipment. This decision is based on factors like quantity, size, and how the piece will be used. The right method ensures consistency, quality, and efficiency without overcomplicating the process for the client. Press time, where it all comes together. This is the part most people picture when they think of printing. Sheets running through a press, ink being applied, the job coming to life. But even here, it's not as simple as pressing a button. There's careful attention to color accuracy and consistency, registration, making sure everything lines up perfectly, and ongoing quality checks throughout the run. Especially on longer runs, maintaining consistency from the first piece to the last is critical. Finishing, the difference between printed and professional. Printing is only part of the process. Finishing is what turns a printed sheet into a polished, usable product. This can include cutting to final size, folding, bifolds, trifolds, and more, binding, booklets, catalogs, or perforating. This is often where the biggest visual difference shows up. Clean cuts, sharp folds, proper alignment. These details are what make a piece feel professional in someone's hands. Quality control and packaging. Before anything leaves the shop, it goes through a final check. We're looking for color consistency, proper trimming and alignment, correct quantities, and overall presentation. Once everything is approved, the job is packed and prepared for delivery or distribution. If the project involves mailing, this is where things shift into postal prep, addressing, and sorting. Where things can go wrong and how we prevent it. Even with a strong process, print projects can run into issues. Most of the time, they come down to a few common things. Incomplete information. Missing details like quantity, size, or deadlines can slow everything down. File issues. Low-resolution images, incorrect sizing, or missing elements can require adjustments before production begins. Last-minute changes. Changes after approval can impact timing and workflow. Unrealistic timelines. Some steps simply take time, especially when finishing or mailing is involved. A professional printer's job is to catch these issues early, communicate clearly, and keep your project moving forward. Why this process matters. Printing isn't just about putting ink on paper. It's a coordinated process that requires attention to detail at every step. When everything is done right, colors look the way they should, text is sharp and readable, Pieces are cleanly finished, and your brand is represented professionally. When steps are skipped or rushed, the difference is noticeable. From the outside, printing can seem simple. Send a file, get a product. But behind the scenes, there's a structured process designed to make sure everything turns out exactly the way it should. And that process is what separates an average print job from one that actually makes an impact.